Now, the day was marked amid an increase in cases of early pregnancies, which have been linked to the closure of schools due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, in line with this year's theme, Our Voice, Our Equal Future, our reporter Zina Mohammed caught up with two women who, in their own small spaces, are using their voice to create a better future for the girl child in their society. Take a look.
As the world marks International Girl Child Day, our focus is on two women who grew up in the slum settings and are now impacting the lives of thousands of girls back in the slums they grew up in. In one of Kenya's biggest slums, Kawangware, we meet 33-year-old Martha Mwende. Martha is currently a mentor and an advocate of women's rights in a slum where she was born and bred. But Martha's story is not an easy one. For her, growing up was an uphill battle.
I lived a life that was very difficult. My mom was sickling most of the time, so she couldn't be able to take care of us. So we were on and off, on and off, on and off. At times, you're not able to pay you're not able to pay rent. At times, she didn't have food, you have to go out to look for food.
The mother of two says some of her childhood experiences are tough to narrate, as the environment she grew up in was not very kind to the girl child.
Here we are with our mom. Most of the time, she's on bed, sick. And that is when life started hitting us hard. When she could go even for months without working because of her health condition. That is when life, we got some reality check that time. And you could imagine now you're at home and you've gone without food for 2 days. The third day, all of you will have to go out and find an alternative as children.
But God sent her a guardian angel, and Martha was rescued and taken in by an organization that changed her life.
This is when our head teacher tried to support me through, but she couldn't even manage on her own. And she reached out to an institution that was nearby, and I was taken in.
This was a new dawn for her struggling mother. They got a break from the constant rain that continued to beat them day in, day out. At 19, Martha was absorbed by the same organization as a social worker. And this, she says, was where her lifelong journey of fighting for the rights of young girls began.
This organization gave me simply gave me a life. So from there, that's where my passion began. That is where I derive my inspiration from.
At 33, Martha is now a well-respected member of the community and a heroine to hundreds of girls in Kawangware slums. About 7.8 kilometers from Martha is another young woman who has made it her lifelong goal to impact on the lives of young girls in Kenya's biggest slum, Kibera. 27-year-old Yasmin Mohammed has equally tasted her fair share of a tough life growing up.
My name is Yasmin, coming from the informal settlement of Kibra. Kibra is believed to be a very hard society where it is not conducive or enabling for a girl to live in.
Growing up an orphan with only her grandmother to support her and her siblings, Yasmin had very little to go by, sometimes even going hungry.
My mom when I was 9 years old, and I had to live under the custody of my grandmother. So life was a bit hard because my grandma by then was having again other grandchildren who she was supposed to cater for.
But as luck would have it, Yasmin got support from an organization that changed her life completely.
I was a bit lucky enough to be recruited in one of the organizations that recruits orphans and girls that comes from a vulnerable family, and that was how I ended up in that organization. They trained me, they empowered me about my rights, they strengthened my capacity on sexual and reproductive health and rights, leadership development, advocacy.
The mother of two is now a founder and director of an organization that fights for young girls' rights and creates a safe space for them.
What we do is basically recruit and mobilize the girls, where we do several activities. That is, we do bi-weekly safe spaces meetings where while after we recruit the girls and mobilize them in a specific space, we empower them with relevant information on sexual and reproductive health and rights.
Yasmin, however, says even though there is much to be celebrated on the International Girl Child Day, a lot more needs to be done, especially on policies, in order to create an enabling environment for the growth of the girl child in the society.
These are being formulated. We have strategies that works towards promoting the rights of these young girls. But now the problem is implementation. So we need to have, while doing the policy, we need to have that review and follow-up of whether the policies are being implemented.